So Malcolm Brogdon is definitely an interesting player for this Pacers team. You know, he is 29 years old on this fairly young Pacers team. You know, they got some young talent in Tyrese Halliburton, you know, Isaiah Jackson, Miles Turner, who's still fairly young. So today, we're talking about Malcolm Brogdon, talking about his future with the Pacers and if he's going to be moved in the offseason for maybe some picks or maybe just to move up in the draft if they don't land within the top 5. Before we get into the video, I'd appreciate if you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to grow this channel out to other Pacers fans, so I'd appreciate if you guys drop a like and press the sub button. So Malcolm Brogdon, over the season, averaging around 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists on around 45% from the field and 31% from 3. So Malcolm Brogdon, he's been injury prone this whole season, and it's just been very apparent. You know, looking at his past few seasons, this is actually his lowest season from three-point land, which is pretty surprising because overall in his career, he's actually a 38% three-point shooter. And this season alone, 31% from 3 isn't going to get it done. He's been great when he's actually been healthy, but that's really just a problem with Malcolm Brogdon, is that he hasn't been healthy this whole season. And without him, the Pacers have been looking pretty horrible, and they didn't really have a leader until they got Tyrese Halliburton. So, and especially with Halliburton, he's pretty much in a slump right now. So they do need someone like Malcolm Brogdon to lead this team. So looking at it right now, Malcolm Brogdon, his ability to stay healthy is going to be the huge part in him being able to be moved in the offseason. No team is going to want a player that's injury prone, that can't stay on the court, because that's the most important thing in basketball, is to stay on the court. And if you aren't able to do that, there's no really point in you playing NBA basketball. But if he's able to stay healthy, one example, Kristaps Porzingis for the Washington Wizards has been able to stay healthy for the most part since the trade deadline. So if he's able to be, you know, kind of like that, where he's avoiding injuries and overall just has a healthy streak, then I think he could be pretty much fine. You know, he's going to have his fair share of injuries during his career. He is only 29 years old too, so, you know, approaching the 30-year-old mark. But overall, I mean, he's still going to be a good player, especially on a contender. Hopefully they can get Malcolm Brogdon to a contender. It just makes more sense. And, you know, with him and Buddy Hield both having some pretty hefty contracts, I think it could be a matter of looking to move them alongside their first round pick this year, which could be not even in the top 5. Because if I look at the lottery odds right now, I think they're actually outside of the top 5. Yeah, they're top 6 right now, setting at 25 and 47 behind the Sacramento Kings. That's not a good sign, especially with them trying to lose. So I would like to see them, you know, make the top 5 at least, because, you know, with the Pacers, they really do need all the help they can get. TJ Warren going to be a free agent. Jalen Smith, who I hope they bring back, is going to be a free agent. Miles Turner, hopefully he's going to come back. Malcolm Brogdon, you know, they still got Tyrese Halliburton, all these guys, but they're going to be losing out on some players in the offseason. And without a good starting small forward in TJ Warren, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to build around this Pacers team alongside, you know, Tyrese Halliburton. So if they can get within the top 5, draft someone like Keegan Murray, who I don't know too much about, but he would be pretty much perfect for this team, you know, fit-wise, because he is a forward. Maybe AJ Griffin. If they land within the top 3, you know, Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero could be a good look. Or even Chet Holmgren alongside Miles Turner, because that, you know, backcourt or that front court actually would be pretty dope. So yeah, I mean, Malcolm Brogdon, getting back to him, I don't know, his stats, they're great, but on a Pacers team that isn't all that great, it's pretty much empty stats at this point. So he is a great player, don't get me wrong. He's probably the best player on the Pacers right now. It's just that with his age and his contract, if I look at his contract right now, I think it's pretty much hefty. You know, it's not as hefty as Buddy Hield per se, but he still is on a pretty fat contract. So he is on a 4-year, $85 million deal, which ends in 2024. And he's making around $21 million this year, $22 million next year, $21 million in 2023, and then $23 million in 2024. So a very interesting contract right there. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon, is he worth $20 million? I guess, but with his fair share of injuries, I'm not too sure. You know, he is a great player. You know, the one thing that's going to keep him in the league is basically being healthy. So, you know, some teams that could be looked to, you know, buy on Malcolm Brogdon, the Lakers could use Malcolm Brogdon pretty much in every category. With Westbrook being pretty off this season, they could be looking for a good player that can run the offense, shoot the ball from three especially, and overall just be a bigger guard. You know, Malcolm Brogdon, he is around 6'5", 229 pounds. So he could be a good look at the point guard position if they do decide to trade Westbrook in the offseason. And I think they wouldn't have to give up too much either, because I think THT and maybe a first-round pick could even get it done, because THT is a pretty interesting player for this Pacers team. Could fit into the 3. You can move Tyrese Halliburton to the 1, Duarte at the 2, and then THT at the 3, and you know, maybe if they do get Keegan Murray, you can run him at the 4, and then Miles Turner at the 5. That's a pretty young starting 5 right there. You know, Duarte and Miles Turner are 2 of the older players on that roster, but I think it'd be pretty fun, you know, getting rid of Malcolm Brogdon, just letting the young guys play. Even if they are bad next season, which I hope they're not, I think they could be a pretty fun team to watch. So, you know, moving forward, I mean, the bench needs some work too. You know, TJ McConnell definitely leading the charge. They do also got Ricky Rubio, Dwayne Washington, who actually has been surprising me. Terry Taylor, you know, nothing too much about him, and Lance Stevenson. You know, Stevenson's actually been pretty interesting for this Pacers team, but moving forward, I don't think it's going to be too much of, you know, anything for this team. So overall, if the Pacers do decide to move Malcolm Brogdon, it's probably going to be during the draft, where they could, you know, look to move up. They can even package him alongside Buddy Hield and maybe their first round pick this year, and hopefully they can just get some good pieces in return, because I think this Pacers team, give them, you know, 3 to 4 years, and I think they could be a playoff contending team. So that's the video. My name is Pacers Empire, and I'm out. Peace.